Welcome to this video on why most semen retention techniques fail and what to do instead. This is such a common thing, and you guys are going about using these YouTube semen retention techniques and pulling things right out of books and trying to plug them right into sexual intercourse, and it is causing sex to be clunky. You may experience limited results, but those results are being extremely limited because you are not doing a few of these things, and I'm going to share them with you. So the problem is most men are getting poor results by focusing on the wrong thing. They are focused about being in the game, like when they are actually having sex, and techniques during sex to keep them from spilling their seed, from ejaculating, from coming too early. And although there are useful techniques to do that, without building the right foundation first, you're actually in the long run going to cause yourself a lot more harm, and it's not going to be as supportive as it could to you in your entire life, right? Because semen retention isn't only about lasting longer in bed. In fact, there are many benefits beyond that in your everyday life, including just walking around with more life force energy, more chi in our bodies. There's many benefits to that we're not going to go into in this particular video. But let's get into the shift that has to happen for you to really change the way you relate to the idea of semen retention, lasting longer in bed, and everything that goes along with that. So, as a comparison here, when you are building muscle, you build a strong body in the gym, and then you enjoy having a strong body outside of the gym. You put in the work during practice time. If you're going to be a star player like Michael Jordan or LeBron James or Kobe, all of these athletes go hard in practice so that things happen naturally in the game. This is the key piece here. You go hard in practice behind the scenes so that it's easier in the game. And sure, there's work to do. There's even, players like Kobe gets better in a game for sure. Like it's not like he stops getting better, and he's not relying solely on the games to get better. He's relying on the practices to get better. And so relating this back to intimacy and to sex and semen retention, you need to have in place practices that you start to build a body that can circulate the sexual energy that accumulates when you practice semen retention. There's a foundation that has to be created so that when you practice semen retention, you can maximize the benefits and you can maximize the capacity, right? Because if your body is not able to handle the excess sexual energy that accumulates when you practice semen retention, then your capacity to last longer will be limited by that, because this excess sexual energy is going to go somewhere, right? So we have to look at the body as a whole. And that's what we're going to get into here as the correction. So a simple ascension practice. So what I mean by that is a 6-week plan here. Week 1 and 2 is a beginner practice. Everybody should start here. And even after you are practicing for a while, if you start to feel like things are getting closed off in your ability to circulate energy, then going back to this practice is good. And I want to be really clear here. Semen retention is part of an energy work practice. It's become like a big thing coming into like the alpha male space, the bro space, macho type of practice. And it's an energy work practice. And it's important to see it as such. It really has its roots deep in Taoism, deep in yoga, and it really involves our ability to circulate energy. So we start out weeks 1 and 2 with opening the microcosmic orbit. And I'm going to get into each of these practices in a little bit. You simply do these for 10 minutes a day for 1 to 2 weeks. doing this for the 6-week regimen is going to massively shift your ability to retain semen and also to use the energy from that to fuel the rest of your life and fuel your purpose, your mission, the way you show up in the world, your mood, your mental clarity. Everything about you will become sharper. And semen retention guys like to talk about all that stuff, but often won't go deep into the foundational pieces here that are necessary to maximize the process. So the next piece here is an intermediate self-practice, adding sexual energy to the channel and circulating sexual energy. The next 2 weeks would be self-pleasure breath and the channel, and creating muscle memory. Now this is huge, and this, you can imagine here, there's some videos out there of like Michael Jordan shooting free throws. One of them I just saw recently was him talking crap to Mutombo, and he's like, "This one's for you," and he closes his eyes and he shoots it and swishes, because he has the muscle memory. He's not trying to make it happen right there. He lets it happen because he knows what to do. That's what we want to get to with our more advanced intimacy practices, semen retention, things like that. So you'll notice that these are all self-practice. That's not to say for 6 weeks you can't have intercourse with a partner. Of course you can. And you can start to integrate and experiment with some of this in your intercourse. And what I would really encourage you to do is, if you're going to start working on bringing new technique into that space, talk about it, because it opens it up, and more than likely your partner is going to be more than willing to help you practice together. But my optimum suggestion is that you start to integrate this stuff toward the end of your 6 weeks. So starting off weeks 1 and 2 with opening the channel. This is the microcosmic orbit, and you can see this illustration here. Down the front channel, up the back channel, over, and then it reconnects. So this is an energetic channel that we have running around our body that energy can flow through, and this is the main channel we're going to be working with in this series of practices. So to do this, you can either stand upright in good posture, or you can kneel with cushions under your butt, or even a meditation stool used for like a kneeling style meditation. Close your eyes, touch the tip of your tongue to your upper palate. That is going to connect the circuit here. So touching your tongue connects those channels, keeps things flowing the whole way around. And as you breathe in, you're going to imagine energy flowing in through your nose as you breathe in through the nose, down the front channel. That energy is going to come around, right around to your root as you finish your inhale. And then as you exhale, you're going to imagine that energy flowing up the back channel, up and over. And right around here, you should be finishing the exhale, and you begin another inhale. It's not rushed in any way. There's no hurry. And you're just you're visualizing that happening. And ideally, you'll eventually be able to feel that happening. Doing that 10 minutes a day will certainly open those channels up. When we're not paying attention to those channels, they tend to become stagnant, especially in certain places. So if you can feel energy moving down the front but not up the back, or vice versa, don't worry. This practice will help you get everything moving and break up stagnation. So doing that for 10 minutes a day for 2 weeks. Very simple. Make the space for it. I promise. I know this isn't the sexiest practice, but I promise this is an important foundational step in this work. The next practice is adding sexual energy in. So essentially it's identical to the first practice. We're standing or kneeling. We're touching the tip of our tongue to our upper palate, and then we are lightly pleasuring ourselves to create sexual energy. So that could look like you're starting to masturbate, you're starting to rub your penis, whatever does it for you, but you're generating some sexual energy. It doesn't even have to be a lot. And you can combine that with some visualization. And as you start to create that, you can then begin the practice of breathing down and imagining energy flowing through your nose down the front channel like you did in the first practice. But it's flowing to the base of your scrotum to meet that sexual energy. So it's almost like the base of your scrotum is a magnet drawing energy down, but also from your cock, from your balls, from every part of you where the sexual energy is accumulating into the base of your scrotum. So on the inhale, it's drawing down into that base. And then on the exhale, you're relaxing and allowing it to flow up the back over the head. And you're doing it again. And the idea is that you're drawing the sexual energy out of your cock, out of your balls, and you're meeting it with the energy you're drawing down. And then on the exhale, you're circulating all of it. And you're going to do this practice for 10 minutes. And what it might look like is, every minute you start to touch yourself again, or maybe you do nonstop, whatever it takes to keep a small amount of sexual energy going. And what you can do is you can increase the sexual energy as you move into week 4 to increase the volume of energy that's moving. Again, you can see now how we're integrating sexual energy in to a practice that you've had 2 weeks already. So you don't have to mentally think so hard about what you're going to do, because you're building muscle memory each week, and then we're layering another layer in. This is the idea, is that by the time we get to you having intimacy and integrating all of this with your partner, it just happens, and you're not in your mind. It's not clunky. You're not, stumbling over all these complicated steps. You're just doing it naturally. So weeks 5 and 6, creating muscle memory. This is essentially the same as weeks 3 and 4, but with a breath-body synchronization. So on the inhale, as you're drawing energy down, and after you've created some sexual energy, you're going to draw energy down. On the inhale, you're going to rotate your hips down and backwards. So if you were having sex, you would be pulling out. That's the motion, but you're using your pelvic tilt here, which is really important. So you may want to warm that up by just rotating it all the way forward, like you're putting your cock all the way in, and then you're rotating back like you're pulling it all the way out. Really getting that rotation limber and fluid, which is a really important thing here. So that helps to pump the energy in your body, but it also, during sex, creates a synchronization between your breath and your body. And on the inhale, as you're drawing out, that energy is flowing down toward your genitals, right? So pulling out typically is a less sexually activating, or put a different way, it makes you want to come less. So as we're drawing the energy down to that area, we're moving in a way that's less sensitive. And then as we exhale, the energy is going up. We're drawing the sexual energy up as we're inserting. So during sex, it's creating a natural rhythm that allows us to let the energy flow without amplifying the need to ejaculate or the need to get rid of energy, because we're working in tandem with our body and our breath. So inhale, we're rotating the hips down and backward. On the exhale, we're rotating the hips up and forward. I tried to find a good graphic, couldn't find the right one, so I just added these arrows in here. So this is going to be weeks 5 and 6. You're putting everything together here in this practice. And the idea is that then you take this and you literally can do this kneeling. You could do this laying on your back if you're with your partner on top. You could do this in almost any position, missionary, of course, where you're inhaling, drawing out, and exhaling, putting in. So the idea is that this becomes muscle memory. You have 2 weeks of practicing every day for 10 minutes in this way. And at this point, you can use masturbation to work with that fully. Now, there may be times where you're going to need to slow down even more than your breath to keep yourself from ejaculating, or there may be times when you need to speed up faster. What is important is that as much as possible, you keep the synchronization between your breath and body. So do what you have to do, but keep coming back to the synchronization between your breath and body. Now, the new reality after practicing this is you are able to be more present and deeply connect with your lover because this is happening on autopilot. There's a ton of practice that goes beyond this into tantra and more advanced Taoist practices, but this gives you a very solid foundation to get started in some more advanced lovemaking and advanced semen retention practice. So let me know down below if this video was valuable. Like it, subscribe to our channel. We appreciate you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.